Met Ryan about 8 months ago on a work trip. He wasn't supposed to be permanent. Just a spark, a harmless conversation at the airport bar. But somehow he felt different from the start. He said all the right things. Steady job, family values, marriage-minded. He spoke about wanting kids soon and building a real life with someone. I wasn't naive, I thought. I'd been through heartbreak before, but with him, it was like he unlocked parts of me I didn't even realize were still guarded. He pursued me hard. Flowers at my door, surprise weekend trips. He even met my parents within 2 months, told them he was serious about their daughter. My mom cried, she was so happy. First red flags around month 3, little inconsistencies popped up. His phone was always on silent around me. Work emergencies, at weird hours, dodging basic questions with jokes. When I gently asked about it, he hugged me tight and whispered, "Baby, don't let past trauma make you lose something real." I felt ashamed for doubting him. He was good, so good at flipping it back on me. I needed therapy to work through my trust issues. I was pushing away the one person who actually loved me. I doubted myself constantly. I stayed. I loved him harder. One weekend, he said he had a guy's fishing trip. I noticed he packed way too neatly. New shirts, dress shoes, cologne he never wore around me. My stomach dropped. I asked casually, "Are you sure it's just fishing?" He laughed. Kissed me on the forehead. "You're adorable. I'll FaceTime you from the lake." That FaceTime never happened. Instead, I saw, accidentally, a tagged Instagram story from a boutique restaurant 3 hours away. A fancy dinner for 2, a woman's hand, a champagne flute. I stared at the screen until it blurred. Fast forward 2 weeks later. I'd been feeling off. Nauseous, late, anxious. I went to Ryan's place after work. Took a test in his bathroom. While waiting for the result, I glanced at it on the kitchen counter. Her name was flashing on the screen, my angel. My stomach twisted. I didn't mean to snoop, but something in me snapped. I opened his phone. He stupidly hadn't changed his passcode. Still my birthday. What I found shattered everything. Hundreds of texts. Not one woman. Not 2. 4. Lauren the angel he was texting, promising he was saving for their engagement ring. Jessica, a coworker he told he couldn't wait to build a family. With Emily, a long-distance girlfriend from his hometown, thinking he was relocating for her. Me, just me. The stupid trusting idiot taking a pregnancy test in his goddamn bathroom. Each woman thought she was the only one. Each woman got "good morning, beautiful" texts. Each woman had been promised marriage within the year. Each woman had probably met some version of his family. I was numb. But wait, it gets worse. Scrolling through his Venmo history, I saw multiple suspicious payments. $200 dinner to a girl I'd never heard of. $500 flight reimbursement to someone else. $1,000 deposit to what looked like a jewelry boutique. I realized he had been financing secret getaways and lavish gifts while occasionally asking me to spot him groceries because work was slow. I confronted him while still holding the, thankfully negative, pregnancy test in my hand. He acted confused. "Why were you snooping?" he barked. I thought we trusted each other. When I threw the phone at him, showing the texts and payments, he didn't even deny it. Instead, he shrugged. "Relationships are complicated, babe. No one is perfect. You're being dramatic." I felt something in me break. I wasn't done. Fueled by rage and heartbreak, I reached out to Lauren first. She blocked me immediately. Jessica responded with, "Ugh, not again." Apparently, she had caught him lying months ago, but believed his sob story. Emily? Emily called me sobbing, saying she was planning to move across the country for him. She was quitting her job next month. We cried together on the phone for an hour. I thought that was the end. Until I got a call from my mother 2 days later. Turns out, Ryan had DM'd my 17-year-old cousin on Instagram weeks earlier, flirting, asking her to keep it our little secret. My hands are shaking even writing that. I blocked Ryan on everything, filed a police report regarding the messages to my cousin, told every woman I could find. I don't know if Lauren or the others believed me. Honestly, I don't care. I feel stupid, violated, used, but also free. Do you think I should publicly expose him? Or do I quietly move on, heal, and let karma find him? Also, to anyone who's been through something like this, how do you ever trust again? After cutting Ryan off and reaching out to the other girls, I tried to move forward. I started therapy, blocked his number, changed my locks, cried into my pillow every night. Healing. But Ryan wasn't done. 2 weeks after I blocked him, I got a letter in my mailbox. Not email, not text. A handwritten love letter like it was 1950. It was 6 pages long, full of, "I'm a broken man. You're the only woman I ever loved. I'll go to therapy. I'll fix myself. And don't throw away our beautiful future." I didn't respond, but the letter kept haunting me. The manipulation, the guilt tactics, they screamed at the part of me that still wanted to believe the good version of him. Then the real bombshell dropped. One of the women, Emily, and I stayed in touch after everything blew up. Last week, she messaged me, "You're not going to believe this. I found an engagement announcement online, dated before you and I even met him." I thought she was joking. She wasn't. Ryan had been engaged to another woman, Alana, for the last year. Their wedding website was still live. Photos of them hugging on a beach, gushing captions about how they met, a countdown to their big day. And the date of the wedding? Just 2 months from now. I felt physically sick. It gets better. Remember those Venmo transactions I found? Well, I dug deeper. Turns out he was using money from me, money I spotted him for, urgent bills and family emergencies, to help pay for deposits for his wedding venue, down payments on her engagement ring, romantic getaways with other women. I added it up. Over $6,700 of my hard-earned savings, gone to fund his double, no, triple life. Last weekend, I went to a local farmer's market with a friend, and who do I run into? Ryan, hand in hand with a woman I assumed was Alana. He froze. I froze. Without thinking, I said, loud enough for everyone around us to hear, "Hey Ryan, does your fiancé know you were sleeping with me 2 weeks ago?" The color drained from his face. The woman looked at him confused, then at me. She said, "Fiancé, I'm his wife." Wife, not fiancé. Wife. They got married in secret 6 months ago. While he was telling me he wanted a future, while he was sleeping with me, while he was promising engagement to Emily and building trust with Lauren. I almost collapsed right there on the sidewalk. His wife, to her credit, didn't attack me. Instead, she dragged him by the arm and forced him into her car. Later, she messaged me privately and confirmed it all. They had been together for 4 years. She knew about some of the cheating, but not me. She's filing for divorce. Apparently, I was one of 13 women over the past 2 years. 13. And guess what? She's 6 months pregnant. As if that wasn't enough, she also told me that Ryan had been secretly recording women he slept with, without their consent. She's pressing charges, so now there's a police investigation. My therapist says I may have PTSD. I cry randomly in grocery store aisles. I barely recognize myself anymore. Why I'm posting this? Because if anyone reading this is sitting on red flags, little gut feelings you keep pushing down, listen to them. I ignored mine. I believed the tears, the sweet words, the promises, the dreams we planned. And now, I'm picking up the pieces of a life I thought I was building, with someone who turned out to be a complete stranger, a predator. Part of me wants revenge. I have so much evidence. Screenshots, texts, Venmo payments. Should I go public? Warn every woman he knows? Or should I just walk away and focus on healing? Would you want to know if you were dating someone like him? I didn't think I'd be back. I thought the nightmare was over after finding out he was married, cheating with multiple women, and secretly recording them. But no, this man was just getting started. It all started with a phone call. Last week, I got a call from an unknown number. I usually don't answer random calls anymore. Trauma, you know. But something in me said to pick up. It was his other wife. Yes, wife. Not girlfriend, not fiancée. Wife. Apparently, Ryan had married another woman 2 years ago in another state. He was living a double legal marriage life. Turns out, Ryan had 2 separate sets of paperwork, 2 separate bank accounts, 2 different health insurance plans, 2 entire lives. I almost dropped the phone. This second wife, Melissa, found me through the first wife after everything blew up. She had no idea about Alana or me or Emily or Lauren or any of the 13+ women. And guess what? Melissa was pregnant too, 8 months along. Turns out, he already had 3 children from 2 different women before he even met me. He was sending child support through secret Venmo accounts and under fake business names so none of the women would realize he was still supporting your friends. That's $6,700 he stole from me. Some of it went to his kids' daycare bills. Not that supporting your kids is wrong, but lying about it while financially abusing new women is a whole different beast. Remember how I said I was healing, working through therapy, cutting ties? Apparently, 2 of my closest friends, girls who supported me during my breakdowns, were secretly sleeping with Ryan too. I found out when one of them, drunk and crying at 2 a.m., texted me, "I'm sorry, he told me you 2 were just casual and he loved me. I didn't know you were still together. Please don't hate me." The second girl, she confessed because she thought I would expose her now that the truth was spilling out everywhere. I didn't even have the strength to be mad. I just sat there, numb, as my entire life, my friends, my love life, my trust in humanity, burned to the ground. Meanwhile, Ryan's first wife, Alana, pressed charges for the hidden recordings. Turns out, several women joined the case. There's now an open investigation for unauthorized recordings, fraud, bigamy, yes, bigamy, financial abuse, and potentially sexual assault because some of the recordings show women who were clearly intoxicated and unable to consent. This man wasn't just a cheater. He was a criminal. One of the detectives handling the case called me last week to ask if I'd ever seen Ryan's birth certificate or any real documentation about him. I hadn't. He had always made excuses about losing his wallet or dealing with identity theft. Turns out, Ryan wasn't even his real name. His real name was Evan Carter, and he had changed it illegally after fleeing charges in another state 5 years ago for financial fraud, coercion, and assault. Last night, I met up with Melissa and Alana, the 2 wives. We sat in a tiny coffee shop, all 3 of us crying, broken, devastated but together. We made a pact. We would testify against him. We would warn other women. We would never again ignore our intuition. We left the coffee shop with a weird sense of empowerment. We had been victims, yes, but now we were survivors. I'm moving back to my hometown next month to be closer to my family. Therapy is now twice a week. I'm writing everything down, even the ugliest parts, to never forget what ignoring red flags can cost you. As for Ryan, Evan, whatever his name is, he's sitting in jail, no bail, facing up to 25 years. I know it's easy to say that could never happen to me, but trust me, anyone can fall into the trap of a professional liar. Anyone can fall for charm, manipulation, and beautifully crafted lies. It doesn't make you stupid, it makes you human. If you're seeing red flags, listen to your gut. If you feel like you're being lied to, trust yourself. If you find yourself justifying your pain, run. Healing is messy. Recovery isn't linear. Some days I feel free. Some days I feel destroyed. But I am alive, and that is a victory. 2 days after Ryan, or should I say Evan, was arrested, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, no name. Inside was a handwritten note on worn stationery. It simply said, "If you want to understand why he became the way he is, call me." And a phone number. At first, I thought it was a scan or some sick prank. But something inside me, call it closure, call it morbid curiosity, needed to know. I dialed the number. An older woman answered, shaky voice, nervous. She introduced herself as Linda Carter, Evan's biological mother. She told me she had been following the news, had seen the arrest reports, and realized the women he hurt deserved to know the whole story. What she told me wrecked me. Evan grew up in absolute chaos. His earliest memories were hiding under beds from the sound of fists hitting flesh. By the time he was 8, his mother had been hospitalized 3 times from accidents that were really abuse. One night, when Evan was 10, he witnessed his father strangle his younger sister to death during a drunken rage. Evan tried to intervene. He clawed and bit at his father's arms, but he was just a child. He couldn't save her. The death was ruled an accident. Because the family was poor, nobody cared, and social services were non-existent in their rural town. From that moment, Evan stopped believing in love. He started seeing attachment as weakness. He started seeing emotions as liabilities. Linda cried, telling me, "I lost 2 children that night, my daughter and the little boy Evan used to be." After that night, Evan became a compulsive liar. He lied about everything: where he was, who he loved, who he hated. Lying became a survival tool. Manipulating people was how he protected himself from being vulnerable ever again. He grew up learning that whoever loved the most got hurt the worst. So he made sure no one could ever truly love him, because he would always betray them first. When Linda finished telling me, I sat there stunned. My heart broke for the child he used to be. But it didn't change the monster he had become. I don't pity him. I don't forgive him. He had the choice, the chance, to seek help, to break the cycle, to become better. Instead, he chose to become the monster that destroyed others. He chose to become his father. Before we hung up, Linda told me one final thing. Apparently, Evan had another woman, a secret fiancée, who had no idea about any of us. She was 6 months pregnant and living abroad, planning to move to the US to start their life together. He had been using the money he scammed from me and other women to secretly support her immigration process. Even from jail, even under investigation, he was still lying, still manipulating, still ruining lives. I don't know if I believe in love the same way I used to. I don't know if I'll ever trust the way I did before. But I do know this. I survived a master manipulator. I survived betrayal on every level. I survived being lied to, used, humiliated, and I'm still standing. The chain of abuse and betrayal stops with me. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. You can love someone with your whole heart, and they will still destroy you if that's what they're determined to do. Protect your peace. Trust your instincts. Choose yourself every single time.